Ancient Egypt has interested many of us, and this comes down to the fact that much of it has been lost to time. Researchers, however, have done a great job at unravelling some of ancient Egypt's mysteries, and it seems that every year, archaeologists and Egyptologists make new discoveries. One of the most interesting discoveries to come from ancient Egypt is that of the ceremonial axe of King Olmos. Olmos was a king in ancient Egypt. At this moment in time, researchers cannot pinpoint his exact date of birth, but his father was Seqenenre-Tau. Olmos, which means the moon, was only 7 years old when his father was killed. Having an elder brother that was able to step up and take the throne, Olmos would soon become a pharaoh himself. 3 years after his brother took over the throne, he suddenly came down with a mysterious illness that ended up taking his life. Olmos was 10 years old at the time this happened. At that young age, Olmos was next in line and he became a pharaoh. After his coronation, he was tagged the Lord of Strength. His reign as a pharaoh brought a lot of opportunities to the land of Egypt, and his mother ruled as regent during his era. Closed mines, quarries, and trade routes that were previously closed due to war were reopened and massive construction efforts took place. His reign is believed to be the foundation in which the New Kingdom stood on. The New Kingdom is referred to as the time in which the Egyptian power reached its peak. During the removal of certain groups from Egypt, a notable weapon used by King Olmos was his axe, which was made of a copper blade. The handle is covered in gold and precious stones, and this axe contributed to the unification of Egypt during his reign. The axe was believed to be buried with the king's mother to show a sign of love and respect to her. The axe has been taken away from the tomb and can now be found in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Another recent discovery was that of the cemetery of Thoth. There are several unknown tombs scattered all over the land of Egypt. Some tombs are eventually unearthed by researchers and help to give us an insight into what life would have been like thousands of years ago. An example of such a tomb is the cemetery of Thoth. Thoth was a high priest in ancient Egypt. He was known for judging the dead and hence referred to as a deity. Several names were allocated to the priest, some of which included the god of magic, the god of science, and god of writing. History has it that Thoth's head can be likened to that of a baboon. In the Minya region, which is located in Cairo, Egypt, a complex was noted to have had several people buried beneath. In the year 2017, Egyptologists started excavation on the site, and they managed to uncover several findings, some of which included burial shafts and several limestone sarcophagi. When further inspecting the mummies, it was found that some had bronze colours. Several things were recorded to be found in these shafts, including that of an alabaster jar that was used in confirming the mummy belonged to Thoth. Some colourful beads and stones were also found in the tombs. Thoth is a respected individual from this era, and he's said to have helped develop writing in ancient Egypt. He's often referred to as God and the creator of heaven, stars, and earth. The Greeks later honoured him as the creator of mathematics, astronomy, medicine, geometry, astrology, and theology. History also has it that the world had 360 days initially. It was Thoth that brought about an extra 5 days to make the calendar 365 days. Interestingly, Egyptologists were also able to shed light on bird mummies that were recently discovered. For those unaware, the ancient Egyptians also liked to bury animals with them. Pharaohs and individuals from ancient Egypt were regularly embalmed when dead. Embalming of the dead was not preserved for humans alone, as the ritual crossed across other creatures like crocodiles, birds, mice, and snakes. These embalmed creatures have been found in various places across Egypt, and for some it shows just how much these creatures were respected during this era. Preservation of the dead is an antiquated Egyptian ceremony that goes back to 2600 BC. People were ordinarily embalmed to rejoin the body and soul after death. Some creatures were preserved for other purposes, for example, friendship for human mummies and strict reasons. The ibis, a large bird with a long neck, long legs, and a long curved bill, is viewed as a sacred creature of ancient Egypt. history tells us that the priests during ancient Egypt beautified and sold creature mummies. Many of these mummies have been discovered all throughout tombs in ancient Egypt. To embalm these feathered creatures, Egyptians expelled all organs and liquids from the bodies and deliberately enclosed them with finely made material. Afterward, the winged animals were fixed with pitch, enhanced with an unpredictable hood, and put in the mausoleums. Interestingly, however, not all of these mummies are genuine. Some of them turned out to be fake. Lions were also recently discovered, although these are thought to be much rarer than the other animals. The Egyptian Antiquities Ministry revealed a colossal store of ancient embalmed creatures, and out of these interesting discoveries, a few stood out. One being that of 2 lion cubs that were discovered in Saqqara, which is situated in the south of Cairo. 25 wooden boxes were discovered in this region that had animals inside. Creatures that were found in this region include that of bulls, cobras, crocodiles, and a mongoose. It's been put forward by researchers that these creatures were part of a sacrifice to the gods. The researchers were also able to find out that a large number of lions were reared explicitly for custom embalmment. When Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities presented some set of lion mummies found by its team, people were excited because only 1 lion mummy had been found before this. Interestingly, where these creatures were found is the same place where a mysterious artifact was discovered a few years back. The discovery of the Saqqara artifact puts many ideas into question on whether or not the object was that of a toy or evidence of ancient aircraft that possibly existed during 200 BCE. In an 1898 excavation, strange bird-shaped artifacts made out of wood were discovered. These artifacts depict a bird first at the front, however the rest of the body seems similar in design to a modern-day charter plane rather than a bird. Located atop the bird appears to be 1 single large wing, commonly seen in modern tail-dragger planes, whereas the back of the bird shows what appears to be a similar design to a rudder that flattens out at the back in a vertical position. Further evidence of the ancient Egyptian gods wielding advanced technologies is the fact that the bird face used for the Saqqara bird is that of a falcon, an image commonly used to depict many of the Egyptian gods and their power. Further evidence was established when aerodynamics expert Simon Sanderson tested an exact replica model of the carved bird in a modern wind tunnel. Even without a tailplane, rudder or flaps, the model generated 4 times the glider's own weight in lift, proving indefinitely that even without the use of modern-day equipment, the carved image could glide on its own. When Simon Sanderson added a stabilizing tailplane to the carved wooden figure and tested it in a flight simulator, it was able to fly quite well and control with ease that rivals in comparison to many aircraft built today. In his paper, Simon wrote that, quote, "Modern technology has proved beyond all doubt that it could have flown," end quote. The last discovery on this list is the DeadMedina that was found with tattoos. In recent years, researchers have discovered various ancient humans with tattoos, and it seems that ancient Egypt was no stranger to this practice. Certain mummies were found in DeadMedina proved that some individuals were inscribed with tattoos. How and why they did this is not entirely understood. Ancient Egyptians were known for decorating their temples, their house walls, their furniture, and their tomb walls, but when an archaeologist made this discovery, it did baffle Egyptologists. Interestingly enough, all the tattoos belonged to women. Infrared scans on these bodies revealed different designs. Some of the designs included bulls, a human eye, and an S-shaped tattoo. As of right now, more tests are being carried out on these individuals in the hopes of trying to understand who they were and why they carried out this practice. Researchers have said that it's an exciting time for ancient Egypt, as every year they are making new discoveries that help them to better understand ancient Egypt's past. With that being said though, there are still some discoveries that have baffled scientists. With each passing year, new discoveries are made, and it seems there's much more to be discovered underneath the sands of Egypt. But what do you make of these interesting discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.